So the first shift in consciousness that I want to impress you with is that all relationships are here to promote mutual evolution. That is the function, the ultimate function of relationships. It's not one that we all are aware of or committed to or assign ourselves to the task of evolving in a relationship. But it is what relationships are really all about. Do you know that the genital prime for young men or men in life is 19 years old? 19 years old. And for women, it's more like in your 40s and even in your 50s before you reach your genital prime. And a lot of men get kind of upset when they hear this. You know, what do you mean? Is that it? It's downhill after 19, right? But it's not, is it? If I asked any, I assume all of us are over 19 years old. Does it get worse after 19 years old? Does it? No, it doesn't actually, because I'm not talking about genital sex. I'm talking about intimate sex. Because what's required in genital sex is genitals. What's required in intimate sex is another person and your brain. As we get older, we start differentiating and understanding a different level of what intimacy is all about, and it's not just a measurement of your ability in terms of your virility. So what is differentiation? Differentiation, in a really, it's a complex idea, but to bring it down to its basics, it means it's your ability to maintain your sense of self while also being emotionally and or physically close to another human being. Meaning to be close and to be an individual at the same time. Not just to be an individual and not be able to be close, or only be able to be close and not be an individual. These two life forces are inside of us, and they have to be balanced. And this is where a whole lot of difficulty occurs in relationships. A well-differentiated person can be close without feeling like he or she is losing their individuality. And conversely, you can be an individual on your own without losing your sense of your closeness to another. That you can feel close even when you're geographically separate. And for the purpose of tonight, folks, I'm going to be, unfortunately, I want to apologize ahead of time because I'm going to be kind of defaulting to a stereotype around men and women. I'll be talking a lot about pursuers and distancers, and stereotypically, women are the pursuers and men are the distancers, and that is not nearly always the case. But in terms of efficiency and even typing this lecture up, to not have to put he and she every time you want to refer to someone, forgive me ahead of time, because I'm not attempting to be sexist. I'm just trying to present a concept. So for the sake of argument, can we just use the stereotype when I say he, that I'm going to be more referring to men or the male energy, if you will. Same-sex relationships can have male and female energy in them. I'm going to be presenting figures. This red part of a human psyche is the part that is self-validating, that has their own sense of self. It's the part of me or the part of you that knows this is me, always been me, and always will be me. It's a part of me that I'm not going to negotiate or give up or throw away. It's a part of me that can draw lines about how far I will go with things. And it's a part of me that is self-validating. I don't have to look outside of self in order to sustain this sense of who I am. This is our differentiated part of our personality that can sit in the middle of conflictual situations and be comfortable with ambiguity, meaning something is happening and it's conflictual and maybe there isn't resolution readily available, but you can be comfortable knowing you're not threatened because you know who you are. You have a sense of yourself. This is your authentic self. This part of ourselves can stand on its own 2 feet. It doesn't mean it's rigid or controlling. It doesn't mean it's being righteous, because that's actually still, that's about other in a way. It just is, and it gives to itself. And the other one, the other part of me, is my undifferentiated self, or my fictitious self, the part that I strategically use in life that focuses on other to feel okay, that does not feel comfortable with my own sense of self. More, I have to decide, who do I have to be? What do I have to do? What do I have to be to survive? What do I have to do to get attention, validation? What do I need out there to feel okay? And there's 2 types of people that are other validated. We have 2 different styles. And you are in one or the other. And all relationships have a combination of both of these things. The first one is the pursuer. The pursuer is in need. I got to have you to reflect a self back to me. I need you to talk to me. I need you to give me a me. I need you to need me. If I am needed, I will feel secure. If I am needed, maybe I'll eventually be wanted. I will do everything, just fill me up. I am nothing without you. This other validating part is so focused on filling oneself up with the other in need, it overfunctions all of the time. With a plan being, ultimately, I'm going to get a self reflected back to me because I don't feel comfortable within myself. I need to be completed by something or someone. For these people, the relationship with other is more important than their relationship with themselves. And that is trouble. So that's the pursuer. The distancer, although he presents as somebody that is running all of the time, he is just as consumed by the focus on other as the pursuer is. I'll tell you more about how that develops soon, but the distancer is always focusing on to make sure you're never too close, but still always being wanting to get approval and acceptance, but from a distance. The pursuer is controlling and underfunctioning. Underfunctioning, only putting in the minimum required to keep the thing going. And the distancer establishes all the rules, and they may not even be stated. But the distancer makes the relationship only go as fast as the distancer can go. The distancer wants safety, and the distancer establishes all the rules, the important rules, and is always in need of space, protecting space in order to recover a self, in fear of losing himself. Right? That's me. That was the untouchable in high school. And the distancer is always certain the way things actually are. He's not curious. He's not asking questions. He's just making statements. The distancer determines how close you can be, when you have sex, or if you have sex, maybe even how you have sex. How much time together is okay and tolerable. What you can talk about, if you can talk about anything at all. And under functions, time needed away with the kind of implicit promise to the pursuer, if you don't bother me too much, I will do things for you. A lot of heads nodding here. So both are watching the other. There's the pursuer and the distancer. This is the blue area, covering the authentic self, the part of us that meets the world. And yet, the interesting thing about this is we are both the same. We may look totally different. We're equal and we're opposite. We are people with the same level of differentiation. Ask yourself this question. Did your family work towards promoting your individuality? Or did you work to preserve the status quo of your family system? We celebrate in this moment. It's like as if everything is common. I was at a party once, and this is an absolute true story, and watching these two people at a party poking out and getting excited about each other. And she said, in part of her story, she said, I went to high school in Kelowna, and he turned to her and he said, I can't believe it. I went to high school too.